When I was 320 pounds, I would binge eat every night alone in the dark in my room in bed, and I was either crying or very sad or upset, and I'd always be watching some television on my phone to distract me from the fact that I was doing exactly what I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing to fill the void and the emotion that I was feeling. So, if you can relate to that, first of all, I feel you, I get you, and second of all, there's hope and you can actually heal yourself and heal your body. Your body can repair itself. So in this video, we're going to tell you exactly how my mom and I overcame our binge and purge eating disorder and how we lost 260 pounds and we've kept the weight off and we haven't binged in years. We noticed that 79.2% of you are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Come subscribe. We give you 5 days a week of free weight loss advice. And I mean, come on. It's a pretty cool vibe over here. So I'd love it if you'd come join. We really appreciate all of your support. So please don't forget to subscribe.
In this video, we're really going to outline some of the things that you can take in your hand today and change yourself. Because honestly, you know if you're binging. And it's really helpful to know what foods you like to binge on. Like I know that doesn't matter how much pasta I make, I'm going to eat all of it. And I don't care how full I am. I don't know what it is about pasta. It's like my food. Like what was one of your foods?
My food was probably burgers and pizza.
But you wouldn't have probably binged if it was just the burger, right?
Right. I can't eat 25 boiled eggs. That's crazy.
Right. Or patties. Would you have eaten 25 patties?
No. Couldn't do that. No. It's the bread. It's the cheese. It's the French fries.
And that's the deal. Like the food scientists engineer what's called, and I've studied nutritional psychology, so I know a thing or two about this, and there's science to back it up. There is this thing about in your brain that shifts your brain into addiction when you're eating foods that are highly palatable. And there's foods that have a high dose of salt, fat, and sugar. So what's a good example? Donut. Like people ask themselves, why can't I stop eating this?
People eat the whole thing of Oreos. Ice cream.
They're engineered. So you're not weak if you're binge eating. You're just wired a certain way. And the good news is you can change how you're wired. So one of the things that we have found really helpful is getting rid of flour and sugar. And first step is just finding it in your life, where is it hiding? But I grew up in an eating disordered household, and I was confident that I was going to completely dodge the bullet. I got a bachelor's and a master's degree in nutrition, and I thought, no way is my daughter ever going to be overweight. But
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I mean, crazy, right? But what was so cool about growing up in that environment is my mom was an Overeaters Anonymous. So if you're an alcoholic, you just don't ever drink alcohol. Right? Easy. Well, not easy, but you know what I mean. It's you just leave it out of your life. But with food, it's a little different. So abstinence in Overeaters Anonymous is, guess what? Drum roll, please. No flour, no sugar. And so day one in Overeaters Anonymous starts when you've decided to eradicate flour and sugar. Now, why did they choose that? Because they know that it causes your brain to go into addiction mode. So you're not broken. You just are wired a certain way.
And the second thing that you guys can do if you want to stop binging is start acknowledging that you do it. The first thing to do is name it. I do binge eat. Acknowledge that there is something you're doing in private and hiding that you're maybe not you don't feel good about talking about. It's good to acknowledge that.
Well, just like you said, binge eating thrives in silence. It thrives in the dark. And just naming it, especially if you can do it without judgment. This is not body positivity. That's not what we're talking about here. This is the true honesty that we stand for in our program and in our lives of just naming it. And that's when the true healing can start. When you're not silent about it. When you're not hiding in the corner about it. And the thing is that I get it. We're all going to do it, but naming it without judgment from a loving lens really, really, really helps to start the healing.
I really think this is important with being in silence. Usually when we're binging, we're watching a show or we're watching somebody else eat. I used to be victim of watching people eat while I binge ate because it made me feel better about what I was doing.
Interesting.
So if any of you guys can relate to that, comment down below. Very dark, weird, twisted thing. I don't understand. It's kind of like if you were doing drugs and you were watching someone do drugs while you do drugs alone. It's kind of like that, actually.
You feel like you belong.
Yeah, you feel like, oh, it's not as bad because they're doing it too.
Well, I remember when we were dieting growing up, because I was a fatso, that's my nickname growing up, that my mom would say, well, don't eat while you watch TV, because if you do that, you'll forget what you ate, and then you'll just have that likelihood of overeating.
There's that too. So I noticed when I stopped watching TV while I ate, I would eat less. Because I was actually and there's studies behind this too, because the blue light's actually one of the reasons our evolution is so obese, which is really interesting.
It is. Yeah, that's metabolically
Go watch the
relevant.
podcast with Carrie because she talked a lot about that. It was really
It's
good.
really interesting. And believe it or not, gosh, if you could just reduce your screen time, and that could be like one of your keys to
It's what I
success.
did, guys. I reduced my screen time significantly, lost a lot of weight. Definitely had something to do with the sunlight and less phone time.
Yeah, definitely have a lot of videos about that.
Definitely have a lot of videos
But
about
you know,
that.
if it were only about food, then this conversation would be a lot easier. Okay, flour and sugar, we got that, check. But the truth is that what's really going on with binge eating is more about
Y'all
your
just
emotions.
need a hug.
The truth is that what you're craving isn't food. It's got an emotional root. And we talk about this a lot in our program. And Penelope's right. Y'all just need a hug. But it doesn't only mean about hugs, right? You might need love, you might need touch, you might be frustrated, you might have felt rejected, you might have felt like you don't belong, you might have felt like you got dismissed, you might
You
have
need to
felt
talk about
unheard.
something. You
Yeah.
need to talk to a friend. Maybe you have no friends and you're like, I don't have anyone to talk to. Nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. It doesn't mean you guys need to go to therapy. This over therapized generation is not something I'm not for this. You know what I am for? Making friends, good friends, going on walks with friends.
Friends that are a stand for your transformation because they know you and they know your heart. And that's why we created our program in a community so that you have the sisterhood.
But you're not meant to do it alone.
No, definitely not. I don't even actually think it's possible.
I don't either. I actually did studies that the most successful weight loss was with external coaching groups, which is really, Johns Hopkins did the study. You guys can go look it up.
So if your emotional needs are not getting met, you can't expect yourself to just stop binge eating. You've really got to get to the root. And unless and until you get to the root of why the binge eating is there, why the weight got piled on in the first place, chances are it's just going to be another diet. And we're not a stand for that because we know that that doesn't work. We've tried that and we want true healing that lasts a lifetime, that reverses all your probability of chronic disease and results in true freedom because there's nothing more valuable than health. And I've seen that firsthand, being in a wheelchair at age 7, losing my mom at age 59. She was 59 before, and Penelope couldn't even know her. So we don't want that for you. And that's why we make these videos for you, because we want to share the deep wisdom that we are still learning today and that we've learned on our 260 plus pound weight loss journey. So we'd love to hear from you down below about this topic, which is actually a really tricky and icky and sticky topic.
Comment down below a food that you eat a lot of or a food that triggers you to binge eat. And maybe comment down below a food that you're going to either replace it with or that you want to try instead. Comment that. I'm curious about what you guys love.
I think that's a really smart idea because, like, for example, I stopped using pasta. Like, I haven't had pasta in a really long time.
I noticed that.
But if I want pasta, I might do some turning slicer, like spiralized sweet potatoes or spiralized zucchini. Not quite the same, but I do want to like call it out. Or maybe even the challenge of making my own pasta, so it'll be more challenging and I'll value it differently. Yeah, but to me, it's like on a rare occasion because I know its power over me and I want to shift that relationship and I want that for you too.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all the time.
Hey, we noticed that 79.2% of you are not subscribed, which means you're watching our videos, you like the content, but you haven't made the commitment. So we would love it if you would subscribe.
And if you want to join our Women's Accountability Group, don't forget to click the link in the description to join. We're only accepting amazing, awesome, and ready women, so please join if you're one of those. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all the time.